Hello.
We are back. We are back after almost a week. Oh my God.
I know. So, Sally, folks joining us for Fullstack for Noobs, this is the wrap-up session. So this is the 21st, lucky for some, session where over the last 21 episodes, Sally and myself, we have been building the Kiro coding quest,
Yes.
which, Sally, I believe went live at JS Day last week. Tell us more.
Yeah, last week on Thursday, we had over 100 people actually trying it out, playing the game until the end. It's only half of it made it, but still, like, from 100 people trying it out, 50 people playing it while getting like delivering their feedback and so on. It was very good to see this in action finally, and it was also great to see people, like turning this into a contest. I've seen people sitting down during lunch breaks and so on, and playing the game. It was very nice to see. And today and tomorrow, it will be available for folks at Spring IO. So it's going
so
to be
if you are
cool.
at Spring IO, then please go to the AWS stand booth table. Well, I'm not sure what it looks like. One of our colleagues, Arno, is going to be there with some of our other AWS folks. And you can find out more about the Kiro coding challenge and play. And please do, there's a leaderboard. I think, Sally, I believe the winner will get some swag. Is that right?
I mean, if you play, you get a swag. If you're at the top, I think you will get a swag. I don't know their setup there. I hope. But
you also get a certificate. You would get a certificate.
Yeah. You will get a nice certificate that you can show off your great success,
your skills. Exactly.
On LinkedIn
with accredited score on your certificate as well, which
exactly
you can boast about on LinkedIn and other social media. So it's been quite a while since we started, Sally. So I thought maybe what we would do is maybe kind of reminisce, and go back to the beginning and look at some of the highlights and especially for me, one of the highlights, Sally, has been your drawing skills, right? How it's improved, over...
I can draw squares now. All right. I have my amazing pen here. And I can draw nice squares now. I'm very proud of myself. But you know what I will do? Like so tomorrow and the other day, unfortunately, I won't be working because of like a dental thing that I need to take care of.
But like your teeth, absolutely.
Oh man, like folks, my friend advice: teach your kids early on how to take care of their.
So Sally, I've got a call. I need to jump on very quickly. So 2 seconds.
Go ahead. No worries. I got you. I'm removing you now. All right. So what we have done was we have done a lot of great things. One of the great things that we have done was actually starting from scratch as well, and like seeing this in action was a beautiful moment. I have like people coming up asking, giving real feedback, and those are very valuable because at the end of the day, we don't do it for ourselves, we do it for the people, we do it for the community. And as the community grows and as they actually share more insights with them, we got better at what we do as well. And so if you're going to come to any event in the future, if you're going to have something with AWS, maybe you might see us as well. And today I actually want to also remember the times and decision makings and so on. And one of the things was we did a lot of vibe coding, and then we started to see the impact of vibe coding slowly. And the impact of the vibe coding was, hey Josh, good to see you. Yeah, but we have the great folks from the DevWorld conference, and that's also, I will get back to it in a second. In the meantime, Ricardo comes back. So soon I will be speaking in Amsterdam for the Great Dev World Conference, and we will have, let me, JS, it's a lot of events, let me find a nice link so we can share with you, and in case you're around, join us, find me there, and I'm happy to meet you there as well. Devworldconference.com, yes. And yeah, like for example, at one of those events, we can like you can find me, we can play the game together as well. The game was really great because it had a lot of real programming questions about the technologies that we've been using and so on, and there were a lot of feedbacks about the UI to improve the question quality and so on, so it was really nice. And today one of my goals is to actually bring in Ricardo to a new world, because we already had the idea, but I didn't share with him yet. We already had the idea on what to start off with.
Sorry about that.
But no worries at all.
So actually, you know what it is that my daughter's car is in the garage, right?
Oh, okay.
And in every country is different, but in the UK we have this thing called the MOT. It needs to be done every year to make sure the car's roadworthy. And of course, the garage phoned me just when we're doing the live stream, right? So, so I had to get it
all good, man. Like when this happens. I'm 100% on the side of you on that one. I was just talking about, like, I've seen a comment from a friend of ours from their World Conference coming up in Amsterdam in the beginning of in the first week of May, and I was telling them, if you're around, I can also maybe try to create a local game so they can come in and play as well.
Oh yeah, man, that'd be awesome. Definitely. Definitely.
This is the nice thing about what we did. I was also here, like here from, like, I was thinking to do something. We were talking a lot about like highlights and everything, but I want, like, if you pick one positive and one, I wish we didn't do it this way, what would you say?
Yeah, I think you know what I'm going to say.
No, I'm very curious. I think the
positive thing, the positive thing for me overall was that actually we created the actual finished game that actually works a lot better than it was in my head, right? So for me, the finished product is actually not just one thing, right? It's a whole bunch of things. And the fact is that, so the highlight for me was that Kiro did it all, right? Kiro built the whole thing. We did not, as much as we wanted to, and as much as we were tempted to change things, right? We did nothing. So that was a highlight for me. Now, as to regards what I would change, I think for me, maybe the security model, or thinking about security earlier, let's say.
We did the security as an afterthought. That was
well, I think we always thought that we would it wouldn't be too much of a challenge, but I think some of the things that we've discovered along the way, I think if we had maybe, and actually I think on hindsight, if we would do this for real, Sally, right, what we would do is we would vibe code this as we've done, right? But as we've already said, we've done 21 shows. It's about 3 or 4 days worth of work, right? Let's say. And in that 3 or 4 days worth of work, we've learned so much, right, about how to build this thing, right? And so I would, using my favorite book again, where is it? Where has it gone? I've lost it. Philosophy of software.
Maybe I stole it.
So using some advice from this book, which is must read. Okay. I would say we would throw it all away, right? And we would re-architect, redesign, rebuild from scratch. This time, maybe using spec driven, okay, to tighten things up. So I think that's probably what I would do. So a lot of rework, right, which is not good, but we'd end up with a much more solid product. And I think what I would do, and this is going to be controversial, Sally, I would move a lot more logic of the game into the back end, not the front end, right? So things like scoring, right, back end, because it's easier to protect, right? The logic around scoring, leaderboard logic in the back end, not the front end, right? And it was interesting because I learned when towards the last few episodes, when we started kind of like using the front end to kind of against the APIs to build all this functionality, and we actually built the admin UI in the front end. and it was awesome, right? And it's
Yeah.
definitely, it looks so much better, right? So hats up to your React skills for doing that. But at the same time, if you do that, you have to expose more of the kind of like functionality, and so you kind of dumb down, I think, a lot of the back end when doing that, right? So I think finding the right balance, I think, for me, and so the architecting solution so that we had more of the critical logic in the back end, and then just called it from and so for folks who maybe haven't joined previous episodes, the architecture is a front end React, back end API, which is in Flask, and effectively the front end just kind of is bootstrapped towards the APIs, and so obviously it's a pretty simple kind of like CRUD type kind of structure. But in doing that, because it's public, we want anyone to play this. That's where the challenges are, right? When you've got public APIs and a public client, it makes things harder, right, to control. And that's what we discovered for real.
It wasn't as bad as
No, not at all.
like for me, like it was a positive experience
Yeah,
to see like people doing their best and everything. Like the uh, to get to your point before I move forward, honestly, I would also move, like, and I did as well. Like I would move a lot of logic, and I did already move a lot of logic, as you know, to the back end and implemented security and so on. And
yeah,
luckily, while building with AI, we were very also focused on our experiences. So this way, whatever we built, it wasn't a horrible code style, or it wasn't a like spaghetti code or something.
no,
So for Kira to go back and implement this additional update, our security features and everything, that worked out very well. Like when I was implementing, it was basically what we did was we brought Kiro into the driver's seat to basically try to hack everything and brought everything to solve this problem. And it actually came up with very delicate and nice solutions
yeah,
that allowed us to keep it secure at the same time. Do not that didn't make us lose any feature. If it made us lose any feature, I have to be honest, I would throw everything away. But like the
yeah,
moment that we talked about it, my initial reaction was, I think I told you as well, like I don't want to throw this because this is great work that we did, and the work that has been done so far has been, I would say, like incredible. Of course, there are some things that we would have
yeah,
changed and we
totally.
changed, but
And I think Sally, what I'll say, right, is that and what we didn't live stream was Sally created a nice white hat kind of agent to review the project, and it came up with a really solid plan, right? It came up with a really
yeah,
solid plan, which we can't share, right?
yeah,
Obviously, you don't share those things. And
yeah,
so then Sally implemented that, and then I created a red hat persona, right?
yeah,
That then looked to expose and exploit the application with very little information, right? So
yeah,
here is the application URI. Here's the game access
yeah,
code. Go find weaknesses, right? How would
yeah.
you exploit this? And and of
What?
course, specifically, it was around the manipulating the time strings, manipulating the points, characters, that kind of thing. That's where it really kind of like was really good.
By the way, I hear your name randomly from something I don't know where.
Really?
Sorry, I hear your voice randomly from it. Randomly just like goes up and down.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know where. So
maybe I've got a problem with my
no,
microphone.
no,
Let me
no.
just.
It's not you. It's like it's on my side because like uh,
If you're
everything.
listening, let us know if there's an issue with the
Yeah,
audio. Are you hearing issues with the audio?
yeah.
If not, then I can always turn down my gain.
No, 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 no. Yours is good. Like the problem is not that one. For example, the sound is also coming from a different resource as well.
Oh,
I don't know
this is
what's going
very
on, and
strange.
I'm like, okay, I guess maybe this is how they are hacking me. Oh
Oh, I
no.
see. Right. So now we're targets. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I think
Yeah.
the way we did security, Sally, I think was pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To lock it
I
down. And
think
like you
so too.
say, that was after the fact, and it was I am definitely, and we did the actual work that's been created is pretty solid, right?
Yeah.
But we also covered, I think what was also, I think I liked, is that we created some additional things around it, right? So we created the infrastructure as code stack.
Yeah.
Now I think that was really interesting, because once we did that, I think that was the enabler that allowed us to make all those changes really quickly, right? So
Yeah.
again, I mean, it's not that we don't know this, right? But it's just reinforcing for people who are maybe watching that, get the kind of your bare minimum application up and running, build your infrastructure as code stack, build your pipeline, and then that allows you to iterate so much quickly, right? Because yesterday, me and Sally were working hard to make some changes for the Spring IO conference, and the fact that we built a lot of the features already as
Yeah.
part of the 21 episodes meant that it was really easy to do things, wasn't it? Like, we created a question generator, right, using Strands Agent
Yeah.
and Amazon Bedrock, that allowed us to, within 20 minutes, create a whole bunch of Java questions. In fact, not just Java, Spring Java questions, right?
Yeah.
Which we were able to import. And actually, I had a question. I had a question about the format of the export file. Did I need, because it has in the format, it has a field called question number.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure whether that was dangerous. Was it going to overwrite? So again, we use Kiro, and Kiro just analyzes the code, says, no, don't worry. That we use Pydantic in our code base, the back end. Pydantic rocks. And of course, Pydantic silently ignores any additional fields that are provided, right? So I think it was things like that. And then, of course, we got the badging tool as well, which we created. So
Yeah.
it's not just one thing, right? It's an application that's got a satellite of other things, right? It's got the question generator, it's got the badge system, it's got the infrastructure as code set up. So I think overall, it's quite a solid piece of work. And I agree, there's no, I think we just demonstrated that, it's quite straightforward to kind of use Kira to build all of that within a short period of time.
Yeah. But like I have to say though, like we did not just chat and forget. We had images, we had for example, like diagrams, and we had proper structures. We had our own version
Oh
of
yeah.
specs as well. Like we didn't use the spectrum development in the sense of Kiro, but at the end of the day, we sit down and we define our rules. We have defined our, like basically we had a minimal version of it, and these made our lives way more easier and way more definitely effective in the sense of how we have built this product as well.
Yeah,
And
you know what? I remember I think the first few episodes, I had a PowerPoint. We joked about it called PowerPoint design, right? And I had
yeah,
in my head all the game structures and the ideas. And you know what we created is very, very close, right?
yeah,
I think the only thing that we haven't implemented is the additional random things that happen on tiles. That, like, we had an idea of creating like 3 or 4 different kind of like random I don't know what you call them, but basically I guess things that basically when you click on them, it gives you either times 10 points, or
yeah.
you
Power
lose
ups.
power ups. That's the one, power ups. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not a gamer, so that's why
I'm sorry. Like that is,
don't.
I in my every talk that I did, like I did. Okay, I can talk about it later, but like every talk that I did recently, it's about gaming, and I think I will just talk about gaming this year overall.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, I think
Yeah.
actually, so on the have you heard of Agent Craft?
Agent craft.
Yeah, so I'll tell you
It's like
what. So
Minecraft.
no. So I'm gonna basically just get it up, actually, because I was I'm gonna share my screen. So for folks who haven't seen Agent Craft, right? So let me just get my screen share. So can you
By the way,
see?
do you have
Can you,
anything coming up as well for people to find you as
yes, I
events and
do.
so
So good.
on?
So let's
Yeah,
pause that for a second, right?
yeah,
So this is Agent Craft, right?
yeah,
So effectively, what it is. So you might think, you might see this and think it's actually a game, right?
yeah.
So you
It's
might
like
think that,
World of
but it's
Warcraft.
not. It's not. This is right. All these are different agents, so Claude or Cursor or Open Code, and they're all basically tasked with doing something. And this is effectively the UI for managing all your different agents. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, but it's also so very, very cool. And it's got getting started has even like the words they use. Now I saw this. So I'm going to just stop that now. Stop the sharing.
Where did you saw this, by the way?
Sorry.
Where did you saw this?
So I saw this. So there is a conference called the AI Engineering Conference.
Yeah.
It's I think it's the third year running. It's organized by Swix and a few others.
Yeah.
And it was last week, okay, in London.
Yeah.
And the interesting about them is that they live stream the whole thing, right?
Okay.
So I actually have watched both days, right?
Yeah.
And it's definitely worth checking out because there's some amazing sessions on there, right? You're at the bleeding edge, not just at the tech, but also around the thinking, the ethics, the governance, the implementation of AI within, kind of like startups or business, that kind of thing. And so this came up. The guy behind this project came up why he created it, and it just blew my mind, man. So as soon as you said that, right, I was thinking,
this
Sally,
is crazy.
you need to give it a go, and maybe the next live stream we do it all through Agentcraft.
Yeah. Like for me, this is insane, though. This is like insane.
I mean, I had in my head what the UI that was there is kind of like how I wanted the kind of the Kiro Quest to go, right?
Yeah.
And I do see that kind of like the logical progression from a tile-based system, what we've got, to maybe more like a this kind of more sort of massive online player game where you go up and you kind of like you have to complete a quest.
Yeah,
but you do it by.
This is insane. Like if I do this, I mean, I'm telling this in the nicest way possible. If we do that, we are selling this. Okay.
Yeah, that's right, man. Totally.
I'm not doing this for like no shade on Kiro, but like I'm not going to keep it with Kiro. I will just.
Well, I mean, I think what they say, what Agent Quest says is it's AI coding agnostic, right? So you can use any number of different agents, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see Kira listed, but that's not to say you can't use it, right? But I do think that people are coming up with these kind of wacky, crazy ideas for how to build different, because you've got Antimatter from Google, right, which is one UI. And then you've got Agentcraft on the other, and I see I track open source projects in this space, and there are hundreds of different homebrew kind of applications. Some are funny, some are funky, but and if even our old colleague from this team, Julien Simone, he released yesterday a tool called Canopy. So heads up, Julien, Canopy on the Mac that basically provides you a way to manage multiple agent sessions, right? So this is the very.
Can you show that as well? Like how does it look like?
I can. So Canopy. Actually, I haven't installed it though, so I can only show the blog post from Julien. So let's have a look.
This is crazy.
I'm sharing my screen right now.
For me, I'm like, I know there are a lot of people loving this.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
So effectively, this is what he wrote. So basically, what it does, it works with effectively kind of multiple Claude Code sessions with Git work trees, and then effectively the UI. I've seen a lot of tools now do this model whereby on the left hand side is effectively your different sessions, and then as you click on them, you open up the actual working session. So this is fresh out today. And Julien is awesome. He really knows his stuff in this space, right? So this is something that probably I'm going to try and spend some time looking at. So definitely give it a try if you get a chance.
Oh man, this is crazy. All I'm thinking of is like how we can move this forward as well. It's insane.
What you mean the Agentcraft stuff? Yeah, I mean,
like I have been. The thing is when you play games and so on, you immediately think of like, for me, I love games a lot, but if I were to build it, I would build like more to 2D pixel or like whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Let's
I
say
think
like sprite level
I'm like
stuff.
you. Yeah, I'm thinking Game Boy type
Exactly.
graphics, 2D,
Exactly.
but still 3D type pseudo 3D effect.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, I think the way I look at this is it's kind of like if that's your kind of UI, right?
Yeah.
I think I look at that as the UI, and then you can start to think about how you would then use that to then achieve certain activities, right?
Yeah.
And it is interesting that in the world of like managing 2 or 3 agents, you can do that easily on your machine, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 5 or 6, a couple of screens extra, you'll be fine. But
Did you
when we start
try?
going into the realms of like hundreds of agents, you need a different UI experience, right? And
Yeah.
so I think this is where this kind of is going to be, or even like the VR headset, right? Minority
Yeah.
Report, type thing, where you have hundreds of things and you just like start moving your arms, and suddenly we become conductors, right? Which is
I've seen many new startups and so on how like how the VR headset scene is changing, man. Like we used to have this bulky stuff, like that's still good for some people because they call it how to like it's this special viewing and so on. But now, like I've seen startups in what was it, CES or CVS or this conference in Las Vegas that like glasses, like sunglasses, you can do
yeah,
VR,
yeah.
and I'm like where did we because one of the problems of VR is the size of the device and like it is even
That's the
getting better.
problem. Yeah, it's always been the problem, and it's not just the size, but it's also
Right.
the price point. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so before I joined AWS, I worked at PwC, and I was involved in emerging technologies, right? And there was a guy I worked with, Jeremy Dalton, who is like the OG of VR and mixed reality, right? There's nothing he doesn't know about this stuff, right? And we were doing reports for big OEM electronics kind of manufacturers who wanted to basically know whether they should get into the VR game or not, right? And what was interesting, there was a couple of like headwinds. One of them was the price performance, the other one was the size, but the other one actually was the software ecosystem. There wasn't enough developers actually developing software for VR and AR, right? So maybe this is the new opportunity, right? Because managing hundreds or thousands of agents, we need a new paradigm for user interfaces, right? So what's that going to be? No, people are experimenting. So I think this is why agent craft is so cool, because it allows you to expand, right,
Yeah.
beyond your screen in a scrolling, like a way that gamers understand, right? But at the same time surfacing up things that are important to the gamer, i.e. what agents require your attention now, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely one to watch, Sally.
Like for me, I have never thought of um giving the idea of giving the idea to gamify the agents and how they communicate with each other because like, of course we work in many game not only gamified environments but also like multi-agent environments, but also actually we chose them to communicate with each other independently as well. And right
Well,
now when with
yeah, so it's interesting that you say that. It's a very good point, because PwC actually launched today a new report or a new video. So used to come from AWS, Matt Wood, who's now the Chief Innovation and Technology Officer at PwC.
yeah.
He is in a really great video. I shared on LinkedIn, so if you are following me on LinkedIn, watch out for that video. And basically what he
If
said is
you're
that,
not, you should,
yeah,
right?
if not exactly, if not, I should. So what's interesting is that they did a report based on speaking to thousands of CEOs from companies across the world, right?
Yeah.
And they detected that there was a 20% of companies are really creating amazing kind of value out of AI, right? And what they mean specifically is that they are 7.2x more productive or getting more out ROI than other companies. So the question is why? What makes them differently? And the one thing that came up, okay, other than the technical stuff, which we know, and the governance stuff we know,
Yeah.
was that they did exactly what you said, Sally. They looked beyond their current kind of organizational limits, right? And they start building these new experiments that cross kind of like either organizational or use case boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And that's a characteristic of companies that are really, really doing it well. So I think what you said there is actually hitting it absolutely on the head, right? Is that it's we are now in a situation where you need people who are really good at divergent thinking, having those broad ideas that cross different boundaries, and letting then the tools actually do the rest, right? So yeah, divergency is going to be cool.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we are not doing as a society, as a group of engineers, or as a group of developers, is that to understand the state of AI as well. Like, I think I told this before, and I can still tell it as well. This is opinions are my own, but the thing is, the amount of people who are using AI is very low because of still the prejudice towards technology, or like people not knowing what to do, not understanding what it is, going beyond chatbots and so on and so forth. And this is what we try to do. We try to showcase people, first of all, like in these live streams or in the talks, that so on and so forth. These are like, whatever talk we do, it is not about AWS or whatever it is. Every talk that I have, you can take that knowledge and, like, for example, the talk that I did in JS Day, you can seriously take that knowledge and use it with ADK, which is the agent development kit from Google. And I use Strands because I wanted to use Strands.
Yeah.
But it is up to you. Do you want to use with Crew AI? Sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. In fact, actually, I'm going to quote Matt Wood again, right?
Yeah.
And what he says is in that video, he goes, what you're talking about there is like earning trust with developers, right? And trust is the foundation, because trust drives adoption and adoption drives momentum. That's what he says, right? And I can't agree more than that, right? That's so true, right? So this is why you do have to, earn trust with not just like people on this live stream, and who are watching the video afterwards, right? But it's actually within your own company. So creating mechanisms that allow you to do things like, show and tells, and find and use the people, the champions you've already got to scale, all those kind of things, is more important now than ever.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I'm like, I can definitely say that, like, it's also a bit antipathic to the people when you go and say, like, as if you are doing a pitch, but it is how it is. Anyway, so
I do want to share something though. I actually shared this on again on my LinkedIn. So I'm actually May 14th. I'm doing I think it's a 2 or 3 hour. I think it's 3 hour actually.
Yeah.
No, it's 2.5 hour according to the invite. Yeah. It's the second cohort of my hands-on spec driven workshop.
Nice.
So if you obviously, we've been using Kiro. This uses Kiro IDE. To go through. I've got to actually update the workshop because obviously Kira ID is actually updating the specs has updated. But if you are interested in doing or finding out more about spec-driven development, then go check that out. And there's a discount code that gives people.
Can we get the link, please?
So yeah, if you're interested, then sign up.
Yeah. I will put this to later on to the video descriptions as well. But like, it's a nice. I want to call this a masterclass. It's a nice masterclass to
well,
learn.
I don't know. I mean, the actual. So I'm an open source guy, Sally. So all the material is already on my GitHub, right? So you can view that. You can view the material. I don't want that to be a barrier.
This is the part. This is the part. Like because they don't pay for the content. They pay to meet you.
Well, they pay for delivery, right? That's the thing. So
Yeah,
this is why
exactly.
Open source. I used to have this phrase that an open source project is not a product, right? There's a difference between source code and product. So you can give away your source code. I'm happy giving my source code away, because that value only has value for a point in time, right?
Yeah.
What you really want is the value over the long time, right? Which is why you have either the people behind the project, the community, or a company behind it, right? So
or they
this is why
they can learn about some fashion advice as well, like you're a fancy guy.
Fashion there.
I am the you always look like cool. and this is the coolest that I can look.
Oh, you're too kind, Sally. You're too kind. I'm gonna put on my new hat.
Yeah,
Actually, you know what? I'm
nice.
gonna put my pulse hat on actually
I was going
because
to say that. Yeah,
you
yeah,
like my.
yeah. I that is the hat that makes me jealous, like because
I'm
it's,
gonna have to give it to you. I think I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to give you this hat, Sally.
oh man, like come on.
You know, they're kind of quite rare actually. And you know how I
Yeah.
got it? I got it because I'm part of the Pulse community inside of Amazon, and I answered surveys,
Mm.
and because of that, they gave me some swag.
All
So
right.
go Pulse team.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Like now I will fill the year survey more.
Yeah,
hoping
exactly. Well, I
hoping
think
that,
at Amazon, we've always used these kind of tools to kind of like try and help. So for folks who aren't familiar, at Amazon, we have we have a directory where everyone is listed,
yeah,
and you have these things called phone tool icons, right?
yeah,
And phone tool icons are given to people based on doing some kind of activity, right? So
yeah.
you can actually you can create your own, you can author your own phone tool icons, and then you can distribute them to people. So I'm not sure how many you've got, Sally, but I think I've got about 200 or something like that.
Oh my
Which
God.
is,
I had 120 something. 120
but you
something
know what?
before.
It's too warm in my office for my hat. I've got to take my hat off.
Mhm.
It's just too hot. It's too hot.
Yeah. So okay, you mentioned also you have an event next
No, that
Tuesday,
was the
right?
event. That was the event. That was the event I shared.
Ah, okay.
That is the event. So that's the event that I'm going to be doing online.
But that is
Um,
that seems like it is on, wasn't it on 14th of March? Or
14th
that's
of
what,
May, 13th, 14th of May.
yeah, exactly. What I'm saying is like, don't you have a event next Tuesday as well?
Do I? Oh, so
I think you
actually,
do.
yeah,
No?
so there is but that's so next Wednesday is the London Summit, AWS London
Yes.
Summit,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
you're going to be here for, Sally,
Yeah,
aren't you? Right?
exactly. Exactly.
And so I'm going to be at a private drinks party thing that one of
Yeah.
the AWS partners is going to be giving.
Oh, fancy.
So it's not open invite to everyone, but obviously,
Yeah.
Sally, you can be my plus one.
No, 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 man, no. Enjoy. I will steal you later on.
No, absolutely. I'm going to bring you along. I'm going to bring you along because the Steamhouse people who run that are
Yeah.
freaking awesome, and they won't have any problems.
Nice, nice. Yeah, yeah, I will be in London. Luckily, we can meet up and catch up and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so actually, it's probably a good point. That
Yeah,
so the London Summit coming next week on Wednesday.
yeah,
I will be attending as a guest for the first time. You will obviously be part of the AWS village, or
yeah.
what?
I
Sorry, the
like. I think
community.
I will help our good friend Julian.
Oh, okay, cool.
With like we. So normally the reason that I go to London is not the summit because like I'm not based in London and so on, and we have a summit in Germany. But on Friday, I will be actually joining the good folks from GDG London
Oh,
with the
nice.
build with AI event that they have. And shout out to my friends who are organizing. They are doing an event to build with AI, and they were like, "Hey, like, do you want to do a talk on building with AI?" I'm like,
Oh
"Sure."
man, that sounds awesome.
And we will be in.
What's your talk going to be on then?
I'm going to talk about actually the same talk that I did. I will talk about building a game master with TypeScript, and I will
Oh,
explain the basics of agent moving forward, and like building an MCP server, creating an agent-to-agent architecture, making them communicate with each other, and connecting it to the front end. These kind of like nice things that we
oh,
can
okay,
learn
cool.
about. We will be
I've,
at the.
I've I haven't actually played, so I've used, but I've not written any code to do agent to agent yet. So
Strands has a
is it
support on TypeScript now, so I'm very happy about
oh,
it.
okay.
That's
So
why I'm.
that's the standard SDK is now in Python and TypeScript.
Yes, I mean TypeScript is still experimental, but like in the experimental tag. But in my opinion, I think it's quite mature. Of course, experimental means the APIs or the functions you might be using might change in
Yeah,
between
totally.
versions as well, not just the major version bumps. But I
So,
think it's in a good spot. Like the documentation is good. It has a great MCP server. In Kiro, there's the Kiro Power as well to help us build this thing. So everything is like quite strong.
and what are the typical use cases, Sally, for A2A?
HA is basically the HA is allowing you to package agents that is focused on a certain role and allowing you to communicate them with each other. So imagine that in this, for example, in the case of the talk that I had one agent that is responsible for keeping track of characters, how they are created, and so on and so forth. I had another agent that is responsible for getting the rules of Dungeons and Dragons and so on, and like providing this information. And when I create one character, it goes and asks about, hey, what is this thing and how I can use these tools to bring that back. Why is it important? It allows you to, first of all, it allows you to create an atomic approach. So you don't have to have one big agent that is doing everything. Can it do it? Yeah. But finding the right tools and everything is a big task when you have multiple
Yeah, I was
tools.
going to ask that, Sally. When you said that, when you described that, so
Yeah.
I deploy an agent, okay, and obviously one of the things you do is you make the agent aware of what tools are available, right?
Yeah.
So if in your use case, you've got those two agents, one that does basically the character, the other one knows the rules.
Yeah.
So how do they know about each other?
They don't know about each other. What we have is we have a third agent that is kind of an orchestrator.
Okay.
And so at the end of the day, how we implement this, we create the agents, but they act like they are servers.
Okay,
And
but you still have to manually wire up the
yeah, you
visibility.
have to have an orchestrator that is aware of what's going
Right.
on. It's like the tools logic again. Like
Yeah, okay.
instead of tools, now we know which agent to invoke.
And
For
if you want,
example,
are there other things you can do to like auto wire, the agents, so that as you add more agents, you don't have to kind of like manually update your orchestrator, or is there always a certain amount of configuration required as you add new agents?
right now you have to, like with strands, at least, you have to have them. But I think it's overall as well, like how, like I think if we were to follow a certain format, maybe we wouldn't have to do it. But like for strands perspective, from the strands perspective, they are individual servers, and you need to wire them up in a place that you would think that, hey, now I would like to use this, like use these agents according to whenever or whatever I need from them.
Right. Well, okay. I'll have to give your repo a try out then, and
Yeah, it's
dive
open
into it.
source already. Some folks were
Cool.
kind enough to give a star as well. Like we
So
live in
I just
open source.
realized, Sally, that we haven't actually shown yet the live game, right? The finished game to people on the live stream. Do you think we should do that?
You know what? Yeah, let's do it because we
Let's,
have
let's
a
show
test game
people.
as well.
Let's go through
Yeah.
the experience.
But now
Right.
we
So,
can't show everything because we can't show the admin panel anymore because
yeah, we can't
we
show the admin panel. No.
yeah we
But
have
I
some
tell you what,
information.
for
Yeah.
people who are on the stream or watching the video afterwards, the
Yeah.
admin panel is a thing of beauty. And you know
Yeah,
what my favorite thing, Sally, is the audit log.
yeah,
That is just amazing. I love it.
I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it, I have to say. Let me share my screen window. All right, so this is where we are. So, and I don't want this. Let me see. I'm not very sure which page it is, so let me take this down for more. Yes, I'm very luckily I didn't click on it, so I'm just going to open the normal game page and copy the test event that we have created. Now, for example, there are a few changes that we did. Let me pull this up. The biggest change that we did is around, so you can see that we have some nice people played the game during like JS Day. Right now it is still happening on Spring IO. And the biggest change that we did was actually around how we are perceiving the game. So if I go in, you can like select your username, whatever it is, let's say Sani. And if I go and add the access code, it will take me to the game that I want to play. So I selected this, and you can see that like the leaderboard from the previous games that I played, the everything here is as well. And most importantly, we also have leaderboards as well. So you can not only see the game leaderboard, but also you can see the global leaderboard as well.
And also, I noticed you got the clock in the top right as well.
Yeah. This was one of the feedbacks from the
Yeah.
folks who has played the game. They were like, okay, when I'm in the game, I don't see like how much time I spend, which is very valid, of course. And we have implemented that. Of course, we have a lot of more niceties that we need to do as well. For example, here I want to have an proper information about how to play the different kind of games as well, like for questions or like cloud formation. Yeah.
And obviously, so what Shally is showing you is that we created this event, a test event for Spring
Yeah.
ISO. These are questions that are focused on Java.
Yeah.
Last week at JS Day, those questions were on JavaScript and TypeScript. So you know, again, at the beginning of the whole series, right, one of the things we wanted to do is learn from what the feedback we had from the previous year, right? And one of them was we wanted to have more than Python, right? So we've already ticked that massively, right, by doing TypeScript and Java in subsequent weeks, right? So and also the coding questions work across Python, JavaScript, and Java as well, which again is a nice thing as well. So
no, 100%. And I really like the fact that now, for example, we can get this one, copy this, and let me open my terminal and get the Q related stuff. What's going on? I'm doing some stuff. Apparently, I forgot to do.
you're basically doing this in Kira, right?
Yeah, and I will just create a new window and say that like
you need the answers in Java.
Yeah, exactly.
What's interesting, okay, is that some of the questions tell you to create a Java solve method, right? Where this one doesn't. So that's one thing that, you know, we have to fix for some of the questions, I think.
Yeah. Also, it does imports as well. So we need to make sure that like it doesn't
we definitely don't want the imports.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Sometimes I see some problems, but like that's completely fine. The reason that it's fine is like I really want to make sure that whatever we are doing is making people's lives easier. So for example, in here we have this. Normally this is part of the Java standard library.
That's okay then.
But like, do we want to have the class? No. Right.
So the way that the questions that, you know, with the new question says write a Java solve method that takes a JSON string as the beginning of the. So we're in the question, right? I would copy that, but I would prefix it by write a Java solve method that computes the Fibonacci. So that's how I would put it into.
But even though with that one, so since
that should
Java
be okay. I think that probably be right.
Let's see. Since Java is an object-oriented language, you have to have classes. So this code, for example, the expected code here is, let me move this one. The expected code here is correct as a function, but when you want to copy and paste it and run it, this is not how you would do it as well. So that's why I'm very...
Yeah, and also I would be careful of just copying and pasting from the editor, right? Because a lot of the answers aren't correct. So what I would say is go if you take if you copy to clipboard and Kiro and prefix it with write a Java solve method, it will normally give you the right code. Because you know, I think this is one of the oddities, right? And it's a balance. When you're creating a code, you need to have you do need to have a certain, you know, structure. Oh, it's still not working.
Okay, let's see what it says. I will say it says this is the answer. So I'm asking Kira as well. I'm curious what it's saying. The answer has the right idea, but has a bug. Yeah, sure.
It's interesting because yesterday when I was testing it for the Java questions, every single one worked. So, but maybe, we did see that there was some questions that we found.
See,
Oh,
it
okay, worked
works.
this time.
It's not about the engine, but whatever engine works. I think it's a fine tuning issue
A
that we
fine
can
issue.
do. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think right now, like that's why I think what you said was 100% right. I think the AI should not fixate on, let me, uh, should not fixate on the correct answer. And that is the problem that we have. I think this is
Let's
focusing on
finish
the
it.
right answer.
Let's finish there.
Yeah. Inject, I guess inject. No, it's value. Damn, I did the right one in the first one, but I was like,
But the interesting thing is, like, some of the because we obviously use AI to generate some of the questions, right?
yeah,
It was hilarious that a lot of the questions generated were hallucinated, and really badly hallucinated as well.
yeah,
So we did have to go through a process of actually validating and checking the questions with humans that knew this stuff, right? Because
yeah. That, I mean, I will directly blame. I don't know. I asked him, hey man, go through, and he was happy. So
yeah. I mean, I think you only have to do it once though. So
no, that's the thing. Like, I think that's why, like, when we do this challenge, I honestly told Arno and tell the people as well, like, consider this as a beta.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's not the perfect thing, but it's better. What is AWS Secrets Manager, and how does it
I
differ from?
I would
And
say that basically it doesn't store them on the file system, and also you can rotate secrets.
yeah, and like, for secrets that need to be written to the secrets. Let's see. I literally
I don't think that's
copied
going to
this.
work. I don't.
You never know.
No,
Serves as
exactly.
stores, retrieves, automatically rotates. I think the rotating the secrets is the
That's it.
biggest deal.
That's
By
it.
the way.
Just exactly that. That will. Yeah, that should answer correctly.
But I
And let's
have
look
a
at the badge. Let's
badge.
look at the badge. Let's look at the badge.
Yeah.
Look at the badge.
Oh,
And there we
so
have it.
nice. So nice.
165 points. Well done.
Yeah. I, like,
And
I
now you're on
did,
the leaderboard. Where? So. Oh,
like,
because it's the. Got ya.
it's in the game, so we can see,
It's in the
like,
game.
yeah, EA
So that
Sports.
what Sally's just shown you folks, that's what we've done over the last 20 episodes of the Fullstack for
Yeah.
Noobs. We've created this game. It's now being run today at Spring IO, second event in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So far, we're getting some good feedback. So if you get a chance to attend an AWS event, look out for the AWS booth
Yeah.
and look out for the Kiro Coding Challenge. Give it a go, and hopefully, get yourself on the leaderboard.
Yeah. And share on LinkedIn as well. We share on LinkedIn, share with us. We are more than happy to see it on social media. That's
Exactly.
what makes it
So
special.
I guess just to kind of like close things up, Sally.
Yeah.
What's next? What's next? Both the Kiro coding challenge. Where are we? What are we going to do with it? What things would you like to see? Us improve on it.
I mean, we already added a lot of things, as you know. We have, like, seriously, yesterday and last, I would say, Thursday, there were so many additions. What I want to see is, of course, more languages, and I want to be able to.
What more than the 3 we already have?
Yeah.
So we've got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you have next? What languages would you use next?
So we have Java, like, we have TypeScript, and we have Python. I think the next one is C++. No. No. I don't want people to hate it. That's a great question. It could be something like C#,
Oh, C#.
Yeah.
Interesting choice. That's not where I was going to go. Right.
Yeah.
Now look who
Look
it
who
is.
is
Lovely Mike. Small talk. Yes, Mike. That's what we should do. Small talk or Delphi, right?
Yeah. Like, I want to go for Fortran, but it is too posh.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was like gravitating towards, I think Rust, Golang, maybe.
Oh, Golang would be nice.
PHP.
Yeah.
You know,
You know, like I don't know how is it in the international communities, but in Turkey there is a big hatred towards PHP,
what
and
really?
yeah, it's like
You're joking, really?
yeah, it's
That is so
considered,
surprising.
yeah, it's considered as a like old language and so on. But here's the crazy thing, though. I I like PHP. I
I
got
do as
my
well.
first paycheck with PHP, by the way.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I built like I was working for my university's IT department, and the backend was built with Laravel, and
Oh,
it's a
Laravel,
PHP.
awesome
Yeah,
framework.
yeah,
Yeah,
great
yeah,
framework
totally,
for
man.
PHP. And there was a big hatred, and I was like, oh, okay. And so that's why every time I hear PHP, and I'm like, okay, but I really like it. I think it's a
Yeah,
and
it's actually, it's actually now reasonably modern now. It's evolved, from version 7.4 onwards. It was optimized. Version 8 introduced all the really cool things. And there's an interesting observation, okay, that
yeah,
I've seen, because the models, the language models, have got a lot of excellent PHP kind of code and best practices baked in.
yeah,
These kind of LLMs are really good at generating PHP code, right?
yeah,
So we've seen a little bit of a bump up in the amount of people now using it to generate PHP code, because WordPress used to run pretty much the whole world, right?
yeah.
And now it's
I
never
really
been
like that you're
easier.
like used to.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's so easy to create your own WordPress themes,
Yeah,
plugins, customizations. And it's so I predict that PHP is going to come back, back into more ascendancy. You
or
heard it
you
here
hope,
first.
or or you were hoping.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've a lot of love for PHP.
yeah,
I did a lot of prototyping demos. Sort of 10 years ago,
yeah,
after actually Java. So I went from Java to PHP.
yeah,
So for me, it's always the language I like. And then from PHP to Python was quite a nice, easy transition, right?
yeah.
And actually, I wrote back in the early days of Amazon Q Developer, I wrote some blog posts about
What
how
is
to
that?
use, yeah,
What
I
is that?
know, how to use Amazon Q Developer to effectively refactor PHP code to Python,
Yeah.
and it worked surprisingly well. Actually, I've got to say,
I
even
mean, I
even
think it's
then.
because everything is Python focused than the high quality, the
Well,
high
I think
quality of
it's I think
PHP.
when you're doing refactoring, okay, I think one of the things you've got to do is don't be too ambitious in your refactor.
Yeah,
So you might have to do an intermediary step
yeah,
to get closer to where you want to be. So Python and PHP are similar, right, in certain
yeah,
ways. And then once you're in Python, it makes it easier then to go to something else, right? So I think intermediary steps can be a useful technique. Not always, because they add extra steps, extra points of failure, extra cost, all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
it can be a useful stepping stone.
yeah. So yeah, for the future of it, honestly, it's Golang. This is a nice start. I want also I have some UI problems that I see. I will also do the fix on that. The next thing that I want to do is a nice facelift, maybe move from this board logic part, like your background that you created, to have an actually treasure mount.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
or but before doing any of that, I will add definitely the power ups.
yeah.
That's
Power ups. I think having a more interactive map that you can
yeah,
navigate your character towards, right?
yeah, yeah,
And then play questions you want as you
yeah,
want. I think that could be a really cool idea. I think so. Yeah,
yeah,
uh, you know. But again, see, I guess that's one of the beauties of splitting the
yeah,
logic from the front end, right? You can create
yeah,
multiple different front ends, right, for the
yeah.
same logic in the back end.
Yeah, 100%, and when your backend works as expected, if there are no issues.
Hey, are you saying there was issues with the back end?
No, 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 no. No, the backend was perfect. It's always the front end, man. Always me. I will get a t-shirt. Why always me? Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
who?
yeah,
So who? I think wasn't that Mario Balotelli that had the
yeah, it was
T-shirt?
Balotelli. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
one of
He's
the most kind of like one of the greatest skilled footballers, but also one of the biggest enigmas, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. He is like when he is good, he is good than
It's
everybody.
unplayable when he's
Yeah,
on his form. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I enjoyed watching him play. You know, it was
Oh,
he
yeah,
was
he
he
even
was a
came
good
to
player.
Turkey. It's like his
Did he
career.
really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He came to a small town in Turkey.
Oh, I did not
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. It's
I did not
it's
know
it's
that.
crazy. Yeah, he was all around. But anyway, so like, more importantly, like today we will wrap up QR coding challenge, and we will wrap up this thing and so on and so forth. And I want, like, in case people want to learn the future, everything about it, and so on. I'm very happy to share it on LinkedIn and so on and so forth. But today will be the last episode that we will be talking about the QR coding challenge. What, like, I didn't ask you this, but it will be also funny to think it out loud. But like, so there are technologies that you can build more like cross-platform applications. What I was thinking was, why not now we pull you, and I, like, you build and I will be here to direct you to build a cross-platform app, like full front end, from the learnings that you have and
Yeah.
the thinking and everything. And I promise you, folks, and he knows this already. I didn't ask him
No,
about
no.
this, so please think about
Well, I
it.
still like our idea,
Yeah.
Sally, about creating the you know, we've both got pens, right? We've both got these tablets,
But
right?
here's the crazy part. Imagine that you built it for iOS, Android, web, and desktop.
Yeah, I mean, a universal, right?
Yeah, one single code base,
One single
and
code base that adapts to the screen resolution or device you've got
exactly,
and the
exactly.
capability. So you can use your
Yeah,
finger on a phone or tablet,
yeah,
you can use a pen, or you can use your
exactly,
mouse, right?
exactly.
So, and I guess the interesting thing about that is it's all about using these tools to think about the problem and potential solutions. Because what you're talking about here is how do you create a system that's ultra low latency, right, for all
But
your users, right? And that's
but
the
here will
challenge
be
for
the funny part. Then, when you do the front end, I will do the back end.
that.
Then that will be a lot of fun, you know.
We should switch. We should switch roles. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. It will be
Yeah,
interesting, but think about it. And for this one, like, you can use like framework called Flutter, so you can actually also see a new language as well. So you will
but it's
really,
Flutter how
really,
you would architect that solution, because it's not. I've not done so years ago. When I wanted to build kind of like kind of interactive, kind of very kind of like real time systems,
yeah,
I would use like WebSockets and libraries like sockets.io to basically create that,
yeah.
that interactivity. But that's probably like that must be over 10 years old to 10 years ago, right? So I'm guessing that these days there are better ways of doing it.
Yeah, but this is like, for this one, I think it is still a design decision that we can discuss. But this is for the front end side.
Okay,
I'm
well, I
just
think we should do this, Sally. I think we should.
Yeah, I'm just going to take you out of your, like, whatever you have learned. You will take it into a completely new framework, and the advantage of that framework is I know it very well. Like,
Okay,
if we want,
yeah.
like, when you want to ask for help, yeah, you will get a proper help. But the thing is, it will just be the same for me for the backend. But here's the thing: since you will be building it, like, it would be fun to see, like, what problems that a newcomer won't think.
Yeah, I like that. I
For
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's going to be like, of course, it's going to be cross-platform and like latency and so on. All of these we will do it, but this time differently. We will do it properly. We will think like it's a real product. We
Oh.
will use spec-driven development. We will, like, do everything. So at the end, when there's someone to blame, it will be only us.
Well, yeah. I mean, things I remember. I'm a big believer in the Renaissance developer, right?
Yeah,
Even though Kiro created all the code, it's still our code, Sally, right?
yeah.
We are owners of this, right? We take full responsibility for all the design decisions. We
What?
take
What?
full,
What? No, no. What? No, 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 no.
yeah, yeah. I
Speak for
think
yourself, my friend.
that's the key thing, right? The key thing is that this is a new world we're entering, and
Yeah,
it was a good ride, and I think folks, if you enjoyed the Full Stack for Noob series, then we will definitely be back, Sally and me, in a different guys, because I will no longer be at AWS. So it'll be standalone me versus or with Sally. We'll figure out in the gap between, but you watch out for socials. We will share what it is, but it's going to be fun which either way. And I really like the idea, Sally, of putting me out of my comfort zone.
But here's the thing: we never the Kira thing was because of whatever it is, but I think there are many episodes that we mentioned this. We do this because we want to learn and we want to have fun. The technology is one of the tools. And coming from a completely non-backend infra world, if we are back, I'm sure we can find something. We can even build a game together. I don't know game development. You don't know game development. We can just come up with an idea.
You know what? I would so love to do that, Sally, because
you know,
I have so many ideas.
Let's build a game. Let's build a game in open, and put it out there.
Let's build a game that actually does something for real, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that includes real-time pen usage.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like you get one of the missions is to draw a picture of a house, right? And
imagine that the characters the characters basically abducted, and for rescuing themselves they need to create a proper square, and my character would die immediately.
Well, I would say though, Sally, I would say that they might have died in the earlier episodes, but now they're safe, right? Your squares are now
they will live to die another day. That's for sure.
Right, folks.
But we have some new people as well. I just want to say hi as well. Anna says hi. Good to see you. I see from your name and the flag you're from Turkey. Thank you very much. Shout out to my people, man. They're always here for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Give them a shout.
Yeah.
So Sally, it's been a blast over the last 21 episodes. It's great wrapping up. Again, if folks are at an AWS event, make sure you check out the Kiro coding challenge. This has been the output of Sally and myself's work. We hope you enjoy it. If you do, please contact us, message us, and share your experiences on socials. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye bye.